mandaḥ śrutvāpi tadvastu न jahāti vimūḍhatām nirvikalpo bahiryatnādantarviṣayalālasaḥ jñānādgalitakarmā lokadṛṣṭyāpi karmakṛt nāpnotyavasaraṃ kartuṃ vaktumeva na kiñcana.
Verse 76. A man of dull intellect, even after hearing the truth, does not give up his delusion. Though outwardly, through suppression, he may appear to be without mental fluctuations, a craving for sense objects shall linger in him. We will just go through few lines from Chinmaya's commentary on this verse because, though not directly, but the essence of this verse has already been elaborated in the analogy of tiger and man inside the cave. So the same essence has been repeated here. So we will go through Chinmaya's commentary very briefly for this. The seeker here is significantly described as of dull intellect because he is one who has yet no direct experience of the self and so is continuing his mental control exercises in the false hope that the yoga practices will one day reward him with the gift of self-realization. Whereas one who is ready for realizing self, ready for this leap into the unknown, will no more have the delusion of ego and passions. The dull-witted sadhaka, through suppression, might put up a saintly appearance of tranquility and may even experience honestly in himself a certain amount of mental equipoise and serenity. But when the challenge is too severe, tiger, he would find himself riddled with passions, lusts, greeds, often of the lowest and the basest types. Ashtavakra here shows a clean mirror for the seeker to recognize the ugliness and crookedness of his inner personality. Deep in the student lurks the subtle vasanas for sense pleasure. Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter, 59 verse says, the objects of the sense turn away from the abstinent man, leaving the longing behind. But his longing also turns away on seeing the Supreme. So this takes to the dimension where it says, objects may leave, but its longing for objects will never leave till the time he detaches from the objects and attaches himself to God, where the longing, instead of objects, the longing turns towards Supreme God. Then the objects will turn away. The longing for the objects will leave. Verse 77. jñānādgalitakarmā. He whose work has dropped off with the dawn of wisdom gets no occasion to do or to say anything, even though in the eyes of the ordinary people he is doing work. What to say? Truthfully, he is saying, like Ramana picked up Prabhu Gita and said, my state is described in these verses. Honestly, truthfully saying, his state is described perfectly in this particular verse. We know that the BMI has dropped like dry leaf, blown by the winds of Prarabdha. The dry leaves, the BMI of a Jivan Mukta, may move hither and thither, actively go up and down, sometimes even seem to have gained great momentum. But does the tree have to do anything with all these movements of the dry leaves? When the tree, the self, has totally transcended the awareness of the dry leaves, its BMI. If people seeing the movement of dry leaves come and inquire with the tree about the movement of dry leaves, what answer can the tree give except for being in silence? Exactly in the same way, if a person, an intellect, radical-minded, intelligent person walks up to a Jivan Mukta, he says, you told in a previous verse that Jivan Mukta is a master idler. Even winking or opening or closing of eyes is a burden for him. But sir, I am seeing you very active. You are doing so many things. If he asks, then like the tree, the Jivan Mukta can only smile in silence, because he is aware that whatever he explains, first of all, his state cannot be explained through finite words at all. And even if some words come out of him by the gift of God, he is very sure the other person will not be able to relate to those expressions. Because he is approaching him, he is seeing him purely with his physical eyes and understanding purely with his reasoning and intellect. That reasoning and intellect will never be able to absorb the actual state of a Jivan. He has no cognizance, no association with the movement of the dry leaves, as they have already left. That is, he has renounced his BMI long back. Ashtavakra says, if the yogi is asked about his work, he cannot answer anything. Neither is there willingness or desperation to work, nor to say anything about the work being done by the BMI for the master idler that he has settled as. This state can be re-experienced only after realizing self. And for others, it can only be a theoretical understanding of how a yogi does not act, though his BMI acts. In his existence as self, he, the self in essence, is motionless. It is Purnam in itself. It does not seek anything for which he has to act. The yogi finds it difficult to open his eyes. He is unable to perceive anything in the creation. He is unable to know what others think of him, speak of him, praise him, or criticize him. Any incompletion can only inspire someone to do something for getting the completion. A complete, wholesome, divine existence as self needs nothing more for which it has to take up any action. The BMI of a yogi acts for the leftover duties to clear its prarabdha. He is in no way, he the self pure consciousness, has no association, no sense of doership for the acts undertaken by the BMI at all. Let us see anything else. To the realized sage, there is no ego. He has neither the sense of doership nor has the attitude of enjoyership. He works in the society only from the viewpoint of the ordinary people. Stop him on his path and ask him, what more should we do to add an extra momentum to your mighty work? He is surprised and gets rather confused. You are awakened from a dream and your entire family anxiously questions you. What happened? What was the tragedy? What did you cry out for help? You, now awakened, for you are in a fix and indeed ashamed of your dream. What can be awakened? Masters say, how can he answer? Hari Om Tat Sat.